check, 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 check. You gotta love it. It's kind of like when you're at the show early and there's the guy yelling check or some other obscenities over the PA before you see his band play. Yeah, we will be live in just a few minutes, guys. I know we're technically already live, and man, I'm monitoring this, which I don't typically do while I'm going actually live with the video, and this audio is messing me up so much, so I'm going to turn that off, but we'll be live in just a few minutes, guys, alright? Alright, thanks for showing up early. Let me hear you, people. Great words of Paul Stanley. We'll see you guys soon.
The party started in the very best way. Invite all the magical girls to dance, and don't forget to always take a chance. 'Cause in Saber School there's no lesson plan. You just party really hard and play Catan. Yeah, we're all here to have some fun. Your Night Saber's journey has just begun. Don't run away. Come out and play. Welcome to Saber School. Welcome to Saber School. Welcome to Saber School. Whoa, whoa. Welcome to Saber School. Welcome to Saber School. Welcome to Saber School. Whoa, whoa.
Check again, check again. Change something, I'm an idiot. Alright, and we are live! Welcome! Welcome, welcome, welcome! Hi out there, everybody in YouTube land. Kimchi Chris here, and welcome, welcome, welcome to your Friday night live stream. How's everybody doing on this lovely Friday? So excited to be here. You have no idea how excited I am to be here. I needed this. This is a trying time, as we all know. We're not going to dwell on that, but I needed to hang out with you guys. Doing it bi-weekly, I think, is going to be the way we're going to go for a little bit. I know we were doing it once a week there for like half a second. But doing it every 2 weeks, I think, is going to be the manifesto for the live streams. I think it's going to be the manifesto, so to speak. So I'm excited to be here. Hope you guys are excited to be here. Things out there just continue to be weird, so these live streams continue to be fun. I'm not sure they'll always stick around on Friday nights, but for the time being, this will be our Friday night party, our Friday night get-together, our Friday night drink. And I know I started this one a little bit earlier than some of the other ones because I kind of just wanted to do that. I wanted to see if a different time would matter or not, like, to you guys, like if it matters to the attendance, or if anybody, you know, has any opinions one way or another. If they like it earlier, if they like it later. I'm somewhat distracted here. I'm doing my thing that I always do. I have the Nintendo Switch here because I like to monitor that it looks like it's outputting good. Well, English is hard. English is hard, guys. I like to monitor myself. I like to watch myself while we're doing it on here. Oh, that's dirty. What's up, Trevor? How's it going? How are you doing on this lovely Friday night? I hope you're having a good time. Hopefully, we're all going to have a good time here. I think it'll be good. I'm excited, as always, to be here, just like all of you, hopefully. I've been doing a little bit of streaming over my Twitch channel, Kimchi_gaming, or gamer, Kimchi_gamer. If you're on Twitch, definitely go check me out. I'll be doing a proper announcement video soon on here. And it was really interesting getting this stream set up because there's so much more that goes into that since you're outputting a video game. And on here, you're just showing your face to the world. So it's an interesting thing that they're very different. What's going on, Austin? How's it going? Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. Kiss posters as well. I think all of you are part of the Instagram crew as well. I think most of you interact with me on Instagram, which I appreciate. And you can see all the social medias are over here, over here. No, they're over here. They're over here. It's back and forth. It's crazy. So if you're hanging out here and you are new to the channel or new to me, definitely follow me on all those things as well. Earlier today, I wasn't sure, after I announced that this stream was happening today, even though I also announced it in the video yesterday, I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do it at the time I was scheduled for. So definitely follow me on those as well, because I would have announced it on there, especially Twitter. The problem that was arising was that I might have had to have helped my parents out, taking one of their little kitties to the kitty doctor, aka the vet. He's not feeling too good, but we think he's doing all right. They ended up being able to do it themselves, but I thought I might have to help them with that initially. So, with that being said, had I had to have done that, I would have had to change this time or possibly cancel this, depending what the situation was. So definitely follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all those things, because that's the only way you're going to know if anything's changed. Now, I could have changed down here. It would have automatically updated and said it was starting an hour later, 2 hours later, canceled, whatever the case may be. But those are great ways to get to me quick and interact with me quick. I know Trevor, who's in here on the chat, we talk on Instagram, and it's fun. It's cool. Got some antidotes. So if you guys ever slide into my DMs, I will reply at this point. If the channel ever gets too big where I don't have time, who knows? Who knows at that point? But yeah, we are here Friday night. Thanks for showing up, guys. Thanks for showing up early too. These streams have a tendency to grow as they go on, because they show up on everybody's news feeds and everything. So thanks for showing up early. It's kind of like showing up for the opening act. I know we in the thumbnail and everything we showed little Ace. Here's little Ace. He's here. We do Q&A as well. He can tell you all the things about cold gin and rock soldiers and being a stranger in a strange land, and how you can ride his rocket ride and all those other things. This is a fun little guy that sits next to me on a chair, and I've used him recently in some FaceTime conversations and such, so I figured that I would have him on the stream tonight. Look at that. They have chest hair for him. It's not even Paul Stanley have chest. Look at all the dust and cat hair and stuff he gets on there, but he has chest hair. Even Ace has chest hair in plush form. So little Ace is here. Little Ace is here, so that's good. Let's see. I'm not paying attention to the chat at all. Random question, but what's your favorite 70s horror movie? That's what Austin wants to know. That's a hard one. The original Chainsaw Massacre is one of my kind of go-tos in general with horror movies, and that's from the 70s. That's a truly terrifying movie. The way it's made, the cinematography, the almost lack of story. That's a weird thing to say, that it doesn't have a huge amount of story, I feel, because the story's great, but they tell it in a way where it doesn't feel like a story. You know, it just feels like the found footage and all those other great things. So, you know, I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre might be a more mainstream choice, but it's one that I definitely go with all the time. Trevor says, what would be 3 Kiss songs you'd pull from the current set list and add 3 songs that would oh, I can't read, okay? He wants to know what songs I would take from the current Kiss set list and what songs I would add in. They have to be realistic. Obviously, you can't put Strange Ways or something in there. Well, I wouldn't want to put Strange Ways with the current band. I like the current band with Tommy and Eric, but, you know, so that kind of knocks that out. But nonetheless, 3 songs I would take out and 3 songs I would add in. Oh, my God. In a fantasy world, see, here's the thing. There's certain songs you could take out and add, like, 3 songs in their place, so you could almost expand if you're just keeping it within the ramifications of a 2-hour set, because I love 100,000 Years, for example. I love that it's back, but that's also like a 15-minute epic. You put 3 songs in its place, but we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty, so to speak, of that. But the 3 songs I would take out, you know, I would take out Lick It Up. We've heard it every tour since it came back on the original farewell tour, and I don't hate Lick It Up, and honestly it has a good crowd reaction, so they're never going to take it out. But personally speaking, I'd probably take Lick It Up out. This might kill some people, but I would take Say Yeah out. I like Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom! I think it's a great record. But I don't think that's a great representation of it. And for the third one that I would take out... Okay, I hate, you guys are going to hate me, because I'm killing the 80s stuff here, and I'm killing all the non-original songs here, but I would take out Tears Are Falling, because when I saw them and they were doing that recently, kind of recently, back in February, day before Valentine's Day in Lexington, Kentucky, it didn't go over very well. It really didn't. It didn't sound amazing, honestly. I hate to say that. So in review, Lick It Up, Tears Are Falling, and say, yeah, what would I add in? Well, I want something to represent the current version of the band. So if we're going to go with something from Sonic Boom or Monster, do that. If we're going to stick to one of the singles, Hell or Hallelujah, I do think is a lot better. So I'd throw that in there. But having Nobody's Perfect, the Gene song, would be a really cool addition. So one of those two. And then for the other ones, I think if we took out the 80s songs, I almost want to replace them with 80s songs. I would bring Hide Your Heart back. That was in the set earlier in the tour, so that's kind of cheating. So Hide Your Heart would be a good one to see back in the set. And Unholy, man. We need Unholy. Why is Unholy not in the set? I know we have God of Thunder, and in some ways they're similar, but that would be good if we were replacing those. And some other, you know, kind of really weird absent songs would be Strutter. I don't know why Strutter's not there. I'd like to see Rock Bottom. That would be cool. About Firehouse. Take out War Machine and put Firehouse in there. I would reconstruct the set a little bit. You know, because like you say, we can't put the super deep cuts. We can't put, you know, I'm just a boy. That's not going to get in there. You know, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Let's see here. David says, what's up, David? David left me a really nice comment earlier. I just want to say that. He made me feel good by saying that I make him feel good. So that's awesome. But David wants to know, is Chris a horror fan? Good question, Austin. See, he's such a positive guy. He's such a positive guy, this David guy. If you're ever in America, David, we'll meet up. Well, if you're ever in an area near me, I mean, you know, I'm in Nashville. If you're in Los Angeles, that might be a little bit hard. If you're ever in Nashville, we can do a meet and greet, one-on-one meet and greet. That sounds dirty. I don't mean it that way. But we can meet up, talk some Kiss, perhaps get a drink. It's a Friday. Get some hot chicken. The key when you're getting hot chicken in Nashville, though, is that you can't get Hattie B's. It is the Walmart of hot chicken. Hattie B's is the one a lot of people know about, but you really want to go to Prince's. It's the OG one. It's the best one. Slow Burn is good, too. Helen's is good. If anyone isn't in Nashville, then this doesn't really pertain to them. But nonetheless, those are some things we could do. All the hot chicken. Let's see. Kiss Posters says, time for a drink. That's what I just did. Cheers. Kiss Posters. Cheers. Yingling. All right. Cheers. I agree. So David says Firehouse. Hey, I just said that. He says Strutter. I need to come up with a third. Another one that would be good, but this is starting to get like first album heavy, but Nothing to Lose would be good. That would be a great one. I love Nothing to Lose. It's one of my favorite songs. It's a song about the dirty with the behind. But I love that song, man. And you can, I know some people consider it a Peter song, but you can have it without Peter. That's one that you can have without Peter. What would you guys take out of the set and put into the set that are here hanging out? What would you guys do? Well, that didn't even prompt it. We're already on Kiss because this is what we do with our lives. Let's see. Austin says, what about 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s favorite horror movies? I have to pick one from every decade? Oh, that's hard. Okay, here's the thing. I like horror movies. I like scary movies. I like getting spooked, but I don't always know the exact year they came out, so I might be wrong on some of these year-wise with what I'm about to say. I could look them up on my phone, I suppose. I'm trying to think. I like a lot of the classic ones. Like, I like horror movies, like, quite a bit, but I'm not, I don't know, I'm not, like, super hardcore, unfortunately. So, see, I just said Texas Chainsaw Massacre was my favorite one from the 70s, but I just looked up the original Halloween is one I was about to say was my 80s one, but that was 78. I didn't even know that. For 80s ones, I don't know what my favorite 80s one would be. There's so many good 80s ones. The 80s ones, you were getting all the good sequels and all the good, you know, the good series. I'd say maybe like, is it the Friday the 13th Part 3? Is that the first one that we see Voorhees as kind of the classic version of himself? Or does he have the bag on his head? I like the Baghead one. Was that the second one, actually? Whichever Friday the 13th that was, that's my pick for the 80s. For the 90s, I don't think the 90s are a good era for movies, so I'm having a little bit of a harder time thinking about that one. Maybe Spice World. It's not really a horror movie, but some people think it's scary, and I love Spice World. For the 2000s, I really like the Saw movies. Those are good. Those are good movies. I don't know which one I'd pick as my favorite. The first one's pretty classic, though. I think that's 2000. I don't know. 2010s? Oh, there's a lot. Have you guys seen The Creep? You guys seen that? And The Creep 2, Electric Boogaloo. That's an understated horror movie that not as many people know about, I feel. I don't want to say what it's about because it starts to ruin it, because it's suspenseful. I'm getting tongue-tied because there's sounds outside. Well, who is shooting fireworks? Or a person outside? It sounds like fireworks. I don't think anyone's getting but The Creep is so good. Has anyone seen The Creep while we're talking about spooky movies here? Because it's just so good. One of my friends recommended it to me. I believe it's still on Netflix. I would highly recommend checking it out. Don't look up what it's about, really. You just kind of go into it blind. It's not long. It's like 80 minutes. And you'll really like it. Actually, I just thought of what my favorite 90s one was, too. I kind of skipped over. I kind of made fun of it. It is a funny movie, to be fair, kind of, but it's considered a horror movie. But it's going to be Wild Zero, guys. Wild Zero. What a movie. What a movie. It's a movie about zombies, rock and roll, and transgender love, and undead love, and Guitar Wolf. Guitar Wolf I've talked about before in some of my videos and such. They're this crazy Japanese rock and roll band. Jet Generation Rock and Roll is what they call themselves. They're highly influenced by Joan Jett, but they're way crazier than her. It's like the Ramones on steroids with a lot of feedback. And they made a movie. A scary movie, somewhat. It's not really that scary. It's more funny, but it's a great movie. That's what I'm going to pick as my 90s pick. I've went all over the place. Kiss poster says, Unholy! I think we're still talking about the Kiss songs there. Trevor says he would take out Say Yeah, Psycho Circus, and Lick It Up. Okay, so we weren't too far off. I have a soft spot for Psycho Circus. I would keep it in there. I love that it's in there. I think it's a weird placement in the set, though. I think it's a good opener. And if it's not an opener... Sorry, guys, about all that. I just had to adjust my channel. Not a good opener. I think it should be like fourth song in the set, because Paul could be like, people, welcome to the show, or something like that. I think it's weird being near the end, but I get that not being there. And let's see, Trevor says he would replace Lick It Up with Strutter. That's good. Oh wait, I just didn't read that. He would replace all the songs. He would replace them with Strutter, Come On and Love Me, and Hell or Hallelujah. So see, we're not too far off on the same page. A lot of fans kind of agree on what should be there, because like I think most of us agree for the final tour, like you said earlier, we're not going to get any obscure stuff. We're not going to get Strange Ways. We're not going to get anything for My Baby. We're not going to get She's So European. We're not going to get Fits Like a Glove. We're not going to get When Your Walls Come Down. We're going to get the hits primarily, with some stuff that goes like a hair deeper. But I do think Strutter not being in there, or Nothing to Lose, I think those are the two that are really just kind of weird to me. Because you would think you'd want to have something representing kind of like the first singles, so to speak. First songs you're known for. They're not going to do Kissin' Time. Wouldn't that throw some people off, though? Wouldn't that would be hilarious if at the last show they bring out Peter, their last show, and they do Kissin' Time. Everyone's excited. They're excited, like, oh, Peter's here. Peter is present. We're gonna hear Beth. Obviously, nope. You get Kissin' Time. Or the best, another good troll would be if they brought Peter out and they did I Finally Found My Way to You. Oh, what a way to troll the entire audience. I think Kiss needs to troll their audience a little bit more, but nonetheless. For the record, too, Trevor likes all the songs that he took off. Yeah, you know. Here's the thing, I know that the End of the Road set list isn't that different than what they've been doing for the past 10 years, but they made enough changes, and we can complain that they're playing basically the same stuff over time, night after night, whatever it is, you know? But they're all good songs. You didn't become a Kiss fan off of, you know, Under the Rose, okay? Maybe you did, I don't know, but most people didn't. Most people became a Kiss fan because they heard Rock and Roll All Night, or they heard Lick It Up, or I Was Made for Loving You, or maybe Beth even, perhaps, or, you know, something like Detroit Rock City, Heaven's on Fire, things like that. That's what made us all fans to start with. So the idea that you hate those songs now just because you know so much better, so you're on such a higher scale of the Kiss fandom community, is just, it's a little bit just ridiculous. Let's just be fair, it's a little bit ridiculous. But it's a very truthful thing. It's a very truthful thing. That a lot of fans are like that, you know. But when you're at the show and you're there in person and Rock and Roll All Night comes on, doom-cha, doom-cha, we got the drums going, you're happy. The confetti's blowing, the pyro's exploding. In the current version of it, of the band, Gene and Tommy are flying all over the place. Eric's in the air. Paul's destroying a guitar. It's amazing. It's an amazing moment, and I hope that I get to experience that moment at least one more time in my life. I know we're on the last tour. And I know the last tour is very paused right now. And I don't know if I'll be at the last show. Who knows? Who knows when the last show will even be at this point. But I hope I get to see them at least one more time. Because I'm not ready to say goodbye. I had a weird experience. I mean, the Lexington show, the last one I went to in February, was really good. But it was, I don't know, kind of a misled trip, if that makes sense. I don't know, a lot of things went bad. So I would like to fix that by, you know, maybe going to another show one more time, like the that movie that Andrew made, one more time. Let's see here. Austin says mine. So we're talking about the horror movies again. For the 80s, he likes Friday the 13th Part 2. Again, that might be the one I thought. I like the one where Voorhees is has the bag on his head. Is that Part 2? It's your favorite. You should know. For the 90s, it's Scream. I've never seen any of the Scream movies. Isn't that weird? Again, that's the time I wasn't really into that kind of stuff too much, I suppose, and I haven't really looked back on it too much. I have, of course, unfortunately, seen some of the scary movies, you know, the awful parodies, but I haven't seen any 2000 horror movies or 2010s. But It Chapter 1 and 70s is the Halloween. Yeah, so actually, yeah, it's really good. I look at it though. It is more of a it is it is. You see what it did? See, I'll shut up. It is more of a like comedy to me. Okay, there were some scary scenes. You know, I don't think this is too much of the spoiler territory. The movie's been out for a while, but this doesn't really give anything away. But the basement scene was truly creepy to me, borderline scary. I think the basement scene, you know the one I'm talking about. I think there's water or something. That one freaked me out because I went into it and I was pumped for it, and I still enjoyed the movie. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't disappointed in the movie. Wasn't disappointed in the movie. I don't know how that's going to sound at all, but I'm curious after the fact. But I wasn't disappointed in it. But it wasn't what I thought it would be because I just found more comedy value in it. I had a good time with it. I enjoyed it. I own it on Blu-ray. I need to see the second one. I still haven't seen the second one. Is it good? Is the second one good? I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I need to see it. Maybe if I get HBO Max, is that what it's called? The subscription service, the streaming service from HBO, the new one. I know that It Too is on there. I get a trial version of it for free. For free! What a world we live in. We get it for free and watch that movie. I know that's on there, as well as I still haven't seen Joker. I know that's on there. I also know there's all the Cartoon Network shows. South Park is on there. I don't know why we're talking about the HBO streaming service now, but I need to get that. I need to get on that. We all need to get on that, right? Right? We need to get on that. But it's an exciting time. It's exciting. I'm adjusting the way this is. Just a little bit. I get weirded out by those things. I don't know. I get weirded out by angles. Yeah, I'm excited. Maybe I should get the HBO streaming service. It's a time to get it. You know, what an appropriate time to launch a streaming service. I don't know if this was their initial time period that they wanted to launch it in, regardless, but it definitely became the perfect time to launch a streaming service because, oh boy, I bet they've gotten a lot of subscriptions, a lot of free trials that turned into paid service. So, you know. Let's see here. Trevor wants to know, what would the ideal Poison set list for the stadium tour be? I'm gonna throw that in there because that makes it a little bit better. So here's the thing with the stadium tour, and of course, at this point, actually, you know, funny enough, because it's the 19th, we're exactly 1 year from it starting, guys. Did you guys know that? With the new dates, we are exactly 1 year away from the stadium tour happening as of today. And I'm going to the opening night since I'm going to the Nashville one. So we are 1 year away from seeing all of those bands and more. Having a good time. Oh, the debauchery. I think I'm going to make that like a 5-day weekend for me. I'm not even going to do anything that week except binge on 80s nostalgia, watching old bootleg shows and listening to records and all that stuff. I'm excited for that. So we're a year away, guys. I didn't even realize that when doing the stream today. Funny enough, I thought about doing a stream initially yesterday, since that would have been the original start of the tour. We could have done like a Motley Crue and Poison, Def Leppard, Joan Jett party type of thing. And Tug Smith, he's on there too. Tug Smith is the opening act. But the idea, Poison set list, you know, that's a hard one. That's a hard one because similar to what I kind of said about horror films, I like Poison in a live setting, and they're a fun band, but I don't go super deep with them. I really don't go super deep with them. I know some of the songs, like I know Look What the Cat Dragged In really well, and I know the second record so well that I can't remember the name of it, but I own it on vinyl, I know. And that's the one that has... I can't remember the name of it. The opening song is really good, though. The opening song on the second Poison... I'm just going to look it up, guys. I'm so professional here. I'm going to look up Poison, and I love when you look up Poison, the most searched for thing is actually Poison Ivy at this point, and not like the plant. It's actually the character from Batman. She's the most searched Poison thing. So yeah, open up and say, ah, that was the one I was thinking of. That opening song is really good. What is the opening song? Love on the Rocks. You know, I was wanting to say it was that, but that's also the closing song to the first Darkness record, Permission to Land. It's called the same thing. It sounds very different. Yeah, Trevor, yeah, see, we're on the same page. We got it. Open up and say, ah, has some good stuff, and Look What the Cat Dragged In has some good stuff. So, realistically, on the stadium tour, Poison is going to play at most an hour-long set. I think more so they'll probably have 45 minutes or 50 minutes because they're kind of, you know, they're lower on. They're the middle, you know, because Joan Jett will probably get 45 minutes-ish, I'm thinking. They might give them an extra song or so, make it 50 minutes. They might make it an hour. I don't know. When you logistically look at the fact that these shows are starting at 4:30 and 5 o'clock in most markets, you got to factor in that Motley Crue and Poison will both have 75 minutes to an hour and a half, I believe. I don't think either of them will have 2-hour sets because most towns have curfews at 11. And you also got to factor in tear down and set up for all the different stages and whatnot. I'm sure Joan Jett and Poison will have, compared to Motley and Leopard, they'll have pretty minuscule sets, but they'll still have pretty cool looking sets because it's a stadium. But it might just be a video screen. Who knows? We might have a little bit of pyro. I'm sure that Bret Michaels is not going to set foot on stage without at least a little bit of pyro at his disposal. But nonetheless, we're going to get a hit set from Poison. We're going to get a hit set from all of them. But the idea set would be the hits. They're gonna play all the hits. We're gonna play Nothing But a Good Time. They're gonna play Every Rose Has Its Thorn. They're gonna open with Look What the Cat Dragged In because that's always what they open with. But something like Love on the Rocks would be cool to throw in there just to kind of have something a little bit different. How about Cry Tough off of Look What the Cat Dragged In? It's a stupid sentiment in 2020. You gotta cry tough out on the streets. Yeah, it's dumb. Okay, I get it, but it's a cool song as well, and it has a good history around it. So I think Cry Tough would be a cool addition. Love on the Rocks would be a cool addition. How about we bring back the cover of Justin Timberlake when they did Sexy Back? Yeah, they did that, guys. Believe it or not. How about we put that in there just to really throw some people off? We could do that. We could also... What else could we throw in there? I would almost... It sounds bad because he's not really a good singer, but I'd like to see CeCe sing a song, funny enough. But I don't know. I think we're going to get pretty much a hit set from them. Now, the perfect set, they could do Look What the Cat Dragged In its entirety. That's like a 35-40 minute record. And then that's their set, so to speak. And then they come back for an encore and do like 3 more songs that weren't on that record. That would be cool, but they're not going to do that. I can guarantee you that. I just hope they don't waste time in the set with like a guitar solo and a drum solo. They're pretty notorious for that. And they're okay playing like a 7-song set as a result with the solos in there. You can look up on Setlist FM on some of these shows where they've been the second to last band. They'll do that. And even when I saw them like 2 summers ago where Cheap Trick was kind of the direct support, and let's be fair, a lot of the audience was there for Cheap Trick, no put down to them, they only played like 75 to 80 minutes as a headlining set. So these guys are never quite ready, it seems like, for a 2-hour set. 2-hour Poison set, I don't know what that would consist of even. I don't know that they've ever played a 2-hour set, to be fair. Even in their early days, even, you know, when they were the biggest that they ever were. But I'm sure somebody out there would like to see a 2-hour set from them. I wouldn't be opposed to it, honestly, but I think they're one of those bands that they really concentrate on the hits more than almost any other band out there. I really do think that they highly concentrate on the hits. That's their focal point. That's their audience. I'm sure there are hardcore Poison fans, just like there's hardcore Kiss fans, just like there's hardcore Alice Cooper fans, just like there's hardcore Aerosmith fans. But I've never met one. Just to be honest, I've never met anybody that said Poison was their favorite band. I would venture a guess that a lot of those drunk old women that are at Poison shows have the Bret Michaels shirt with his face on their bosom. That's not even their favorite band. Their favorite band is still like Bon Jovi or Motley Crue or something like that. But they really like Poison, you know. And I'm okay with that. I think Poison is okay with their place in the world as well, because guess what? Those guys still make a ton of money, still play good shows. They don't have to tour too much. They only tour at this point, you know, once every, 2 years, something like that. They used to be out there every summer, obviously, you know, kind of late 90s, early 2000s, when they were like a nostalgia act for the first time. But they're at the point now where they're out there every other summer or so. Sometimes, in this case, it'll be like 3 years since they've toured. Now Bret Michaels goes out solo. Ricky Rocket is a content creator, weirdly enough, here on YouTube. I don't know what Bobby does. I don't know what CC does either, but they're in a good place as far as your career could go. I mean, would it be better financially if they were Motley Crue for themselves and draw-wise and everything else? Sure. But I don't think Poison's mad with their place in the world. I really don't think they are, because they're still the top of the heap for hair metal, because at this point in 2020, top of the heap for hair metal, your number one spot, whether we like it or not, would be Bon Jovi, if you still consider them a hair metal band. If you do. I don't think the word metal has been associated with Bon Jovi basically ever outside of the early days of their career. And they're more of a hair rock band, even though nobody uses that term. It's always hair metal. Bon Jovi's at the top, but they've kind of ascended to a different level. So when you're talking about bands that are still closely associated with that, your top of your heap, Motley Crue and Def Leppard. There's no way to argue it. Those are the two biggest hair metal bands in 2020, and they were the two biggest hair metal bands back in the day too. I mean, those guys have always been the biggest bands in that genre. That's just how it is. They're big bands, and that's how it is. So, with that being said, right below them you have the kind of second tier down, and I would say Poison is like the top band at that level. You have your second tier bands like I don't know, most of them aren't even around anymore. Most of them are, you know, you have Poison, and then right below, because Poison can still do the sheds, you know, the smaller scale sheds. They can do the like 5,000 to 6,000 seaters on their own, and there's not a lot of hair bands that can do that. Now, of course, things get changed too if you put Guns N' Roses in the mix, and a lot of people consider them just a classic rock band. Some people do consider them a hair metal band. It kind of just depends on what you consider them. But underneath Poison, because they're kind of in an area of their own right now, doing the 5,000 to 6,000 seaters. Below that, you start getting into all the bands that are more theater acts, smaller or bigger club acts. Then you get to the smaller club acts. So I mean, right below Poison, you start to get to bands like Tesla that can do, you know, when they play Nashville on their own as a headlining set, they play the Ryman, 2,200 seats. Also in that area, you have Tom Kiefer from Cinderella, who's out there doing his thing. Now, if Cinderella got back together, they would be a little bit bigger than that, I would say. But you have Tom Kiefer. You also have Rat. They're also in that area, right around the 2,000 to 3,000 seaters in most towns. You also have Skid Row kind of in that area, but they're more like, I'd say they're more like 1,000 to 1,500 seaters most places they play. And Sebastian Bach is there too. So if they were united, they could easily get to that Poison level. Not a bit bigger, I would say. They're one of those reunions that everybody wants. And then below all those bands, you still have the ones that are still kicking, that are playing the 500 and under seat venues. You have Faster Pussycat, you have Bang Tango, you have Bullet Boys, you have all the bands that play the smaller clubs that are still touring. And, you know, to those guys' credit, they're still making a living and they're still having a good time. So, you know, you can't hate on them too much to be making music for 40 years at this point in some of their cases. Trevor wants to know, do I like Bon Jovi? And then he says Rat. Maybe he's asking if I do like Rat, or maybe he's agreeing with my opinion that Rat's in a 2,000-seater area. I don't like Bon Jovi, but I don't know. My mom's obsessed with Bon Jovi. That's her favorite band. I think that has a lot to do with it. Also, I think they are definitely like the poppiest of all the hair metal bands, and they really don't have much association with hair metal at this point. or glam rock or any of that stuff. They're more of a mom rock band. They're not a dad rock band like something like Foreigner, you know. They're a mom rock band. They ascended to a different level, a new level, perhaps. Let's see. David wants to know, yes, Nothing to Lose, a good third choice. I agree. Let's see. He also says for horror flicks, he really likes the 70s original Halloween. That's a great one. That's, you know, because I said Texas Chainsaw Massacre earlier is my favorite 70s one, but I also in my mind was thinking of the original Halloween as an 80s movie. I don't know why. I was thinking of it as 1980. I was wrong. That one's a good one though, but I have to say that's one you can watch it any time of the year, but you really got to watch Halloween at Halloween time to really get the full effect. It's got to be that nip in the air and the getting darker earlier and the idea that Mike Myers just might be outside coming to get you just to you know, get you. But he's continuing. David's continuing through too with his horror movie faves. In the 90s, he likes Scream. Yeah, that's a good one. The Saw flicks freaked me out. Haven't seen The Creep. You gotta check out The Creep, man. Yeah, the Saw films. I'm working my way through the Saw films right now. I'm up to 5. I took a little bit of a break because the first 4 are so good. I know that I'm creepy for liking them. They're not a normal horror movie. The first 4 are so good. The first one's amazing. Second and third are really, 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 really good. The fourth one's good if you've watched the other ones because it's starting to wrap up some of the story components. But the fifth one kind of isn't very good. It kind of sucks. So I've taken a pause because there's 8 of them, so I have 3 more to get through. And I know how horror movies go with sequels. They just get worse over time. And it was funny because on one of these streams, I was up to the 4th Saw movie. I remember talking to some people. Somehow horror movies always get brought up on these. Maybe I should start a horror movie channel, but I can't say the word horror right, so I can't do that. Sounds like I'm saying something else. But I remember saying, I was like, I've made it through the first 4 Saw movies because I'd never seen past the first one back in the day. When do they get bad? And no one really said anything. And that night I watched the 5th one, and it starts to kind of suck. So hopefully the 6th one, the 7th one, the 8th one get a little bit better. I don't know. WTF, Wild Zero, oh my god. Yeah, Wild Zero is amazing, man. You guys see Wild Zero in your life. It doesn't matter if you're into scary movies, you're into rock and roll. If you're into rock and roll, you gotta check out Guitar Wolf. Rock and roll, as they always say, and they drink a beer. In Wild Zero, Guitar Wolf himself. So the band Guitar Wolf stars in Wild Zero. But in the band Guitar Wolf, you have Guitar Wolf, who plays guitar and vocals. You have Bass Wolf, who plays bass and does vocals. Then you have Drum Wolf, who just does drums. So when Guitar Wolf is driving his motorcycle with a giant wolf head on the front, not like a taxidermy wolf head, but like a metal kind of one, he has a beer holder like on the motorcycle. How cool is that? You shouldn't drink and drive, kids, but if you are and you're a Guitar Wolf, you can pull it off, at least in a movie. They wear leather the whole time. They get in a fight with a man wearing Daisy Dukes that tries to shoot at him, but they steal his drugs instead. It's a crazy movie. It's an absolutely crazy movie. You gotta check it out. If you don't check out Wild Zero, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Wild Zero is absolutely incredible. What a movie, what a movie, what a movie. I can't praise it enough. I don't think it's on any of the streaming services. You're gonna have to seek it out to purchase or perhaps download, perhaps illegally, perhaps legally. I don't know. I don't know. There's different ways to seek it out, I think. But you gotta see Wild Zero. It's required viewing if you're into rock and roll, and if you're into scary movies especially. Trevor wants to know, favorite rock record from every decade, 60s to 2010. Oh my god, that's impossible to answer. That's impossible to answer. Man. I don't know. 60s, that one's not too hard. I don't like a lot of 60s music. I'm sorry, guys, don't kill me. I don't like a lot of 60s music, so I'd probably go with Are You Experienced, by Jimmy there for the 60s. So that one's not too bad. 70s is where it gets tough. 70s is where it gets tough. Because it basically comes down to what is my favorite Kiss record. And that's hard. Because if we're going studio records, I always go between Hotter Than Hell and Love Gun. But then there's Alive. Overall for the century, we might go with Alive. So for the 70s, we're going to say Alive. 80s. That's another tough one. Maybe Shout at the Devil. That might be my favorite from the 80s. I don't know. Because, like, the problem is that Kiss is my favorite band, so I always want to overrule them with everything, because Creatures of the Night, great record. So is Lick It Up. But I might go with Shout at the Devil. I'm going to go topical on something that was current at the time. But also Diary of a Madman by Ozzy. What a record. What a record. It's a little too short. That one is. That might be the only deterrent against it not beating out Shout at the Devil. But Diary of a Madman is incredible. The song itself, Diary of a Madman, is amazing. What a song. What a song with that orchestra at the end. Randy Rhoads on guitar. Ozzy just spouting all the stuff that Ozzy always spouts. For the 90s, however, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. The 90s has a lot of good music, but it doesn't have a lot of great music necessarily, I think. I don't know. I don't know. That's when I think 90s, two records that keep coming up are Enter the Wu-Tang by Wu-Tang Clan, 36 Chambers of Death. Love that record. Absolutely love that. First time we've seen hip-hop pop up. And I also really love, weirdly enough, the one I'm going to point out is I really love Get a Grip by Aerosmith. What a good record. It's known for all the singles, of course, all the ballads in particular. Angel, Amazing, Crazy, all the ones that, the trilogy of songs that kind of sound the same, but otherwise that record is so good. It's got Eat the Rich on it. It has the song Get a Grip, Living on the Edge is on there. What a good record. So either the Wu-Tang Clan first record or the Get a Grip there. Now the 2000s, that's another time where it gets tough. A lot of stuff from 2000s and 2010. The aughts? I don't know what that is. They blur together. There's one record that's coming to mind. I want to see when it came out specifically before I bring it up to you guys. Because I want to make sure that I have the right year for it. Because this record is just so good. It's so good, you guys. I want to make sure I have the right year. 2003, I do. So We Sweat Blood by Danko Jones would be my favorite for the 2000s. If you've never listened to that, a lot of people don't know Danko Jones, depending where they're from. If you're in Canada, where Danko Jones are from, you know them. If you're in Europe, they're huge in Europe, they're huge in Germany. If you're in America, where we are, you probably don't know Danko Jones as much, though. So, We Sweat Blood is just a straightforward, rip-roaring rock and roll record, and I absolutely adore it. I absolutely adore it. So good. It's so good. And there's a record coming to mind for the 2010s. I don't know what that's referred to. The 2010s, is it called that? Am I saying that wrong? I don't really know what that era is called. There's a record coming up that I don't even think I can say the name of. Actually, what year did that come out? You know what? I need to see what year a certain record came out. Because this is going to be... You guys aren't going to know this record. I don't think anyone's going to know this, because no one that speaks English knows this. But it's a band I've brought up before, especially on streams and such, that I really like. Yeah, okay, 2010 on the dot, so we can do it. Tokyo Jihen is the band. Translates to Tokyo Incidents, the band fronted by Sheena Ringo. I love Sheena Ringo. They put out a record in 2010, Sports. I think it's their crowning achievement. I want to make sure that's the right one. Did I pick the right one? Because all their records are so good. I picked one that had an English title. Yeah, Sports. Look up Sports. You can look it up on Spotify. Tokyo Incidents is the band. And look up Sports. It's so good. You might hate it if you just like straightforward rock and roll, but there's a lot of rockin' parts on there. There's some jazzy stuff. The opening, I think, is one of the greatest openings on any record ever. It's like this weird a cappella opening with all these harmonized vocals and effects and weird stuff going on. And then when it kicks in, I mean, it sounds like Queen fronted by an amazing Japanese female singer, honestly, when it kicks in. The guys have the chops of Queen, but in the band itself, it's all guys, actually, in the band, other than Sheena herself. But great band. Tokyo Jihen, a.k.a. Tokyo Incidents. 2010 on the dot. Made the mark. But you left out 2020s, which we're currently in, which basically means what's my favorite record that came out this year, one that keeps coming to mind when I think of that. There's two that are fighting for my spot of my favorite record for this year, and that'd be American Love Story by Butch Walker. It's so good. It's what we need. It's a rock opera. If you like rock and roll, you'll like it. It goes all over the place. It's really topical with the current times. Some people would call it political. I don't know if you could even call it that. It's just called Doing the Right Thing, and him singing about it, writing songs about it. And I Disagree by Poppy comes to mind. I love Poppy, and I Disagree is her foray into metal territory. There's still some of the pop elements, but it's a heavy record, and it's a weird record. If you want to have a really weird record, don't do any research. Just look up I Disagree by Poppy. That's E as in Prince, O-P-P-Y. Poppy's great. She's just great, and that record is amazing. I'll probably do a top records of the year at the end of the year. I've always said I was going to do that in the past, and I never did. But this year I've been more productive on the channel than ever, probably because we're all stuck inside. So I'll probably do that this year, and that will definitely be at the top of the list, right up there with Butch Walker, and who knows what else. The new Phoebe Bridgers record came out today, and it's really good. I listened to it somewhat in passing. I should have sat down and listened to it. Their lyrics are really important, but it's a great record. Trevor says, for the 60s would be Zeppelin 1. That's a great choice. That's a great choice. Let's see, for the 70s, it would be Alive 2. That's another great choice. Another good one. 80s would be Shout the Devil. Okay, we pretty much agree on that. 90s would be Dehumanizer by Sabbath. I can't talk. Have I ever listened to that one? I don't know if I've listened to that one. I love Sabbath, and like I think I'm like that middle ground that's not exactly hardcore, but not exactly casual. I don't know if I've listened to that record. What's the cover? Let's look up the Sabbath. I know the name of that. Like, could I have said it off the top of my head? Probably not. But I knew that name as Dehumanizer. Now that yeah, you know the Dio one. Yeah, it's the Dio one. I haven't listened to it in its entirety, but I've heard some of the songs off of it. We've all heard I. That's a good song. I think TV Crimes. I think that was another one that we all know. So yeah, I know of the record, but I haven't listened to the whole thing. I don't believe. So for 2000s, Brutal Planet by Alice. Yeah, that's good. That's good because you're making it just in on the 2000s too. Because didn't that come out in 2000? I believe. And for the 2010s, From the Fires, Greta Van Fleet. You probably don't want to know my opinion on them if you're a fan. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I think they're talented kids, and I think that they stand a chance of making some really good music at some point. And the thing is, you recognize that Zeppelin is like a great band, and you just want more of that, I'm sure. And there's worse things in the world than Greta Van Fleet, whatever. I don't know how to say their name exactly. I know they're one of the three bands that everyone thinks are going to be like the big arena bands of the future. Those other two being the Struts and Ghost. And Ghost is already kind of there, depending on what part of the world they're playing. And I think the Struts are well on their way. And Greta Van Fleet's probably like not too far behind on those the big rock bands. They're like the big three right now of rock and roll. They can bring it back to the arenas, but I don't know who's bringing what back to any arenas right now. And to be fair, I like the Struts better, but some people could say they sound like a poppier version of Queen, and they would not be 100% wrong. Minus the fact that they're not, as good, so to speak. Great band, but not as good as Queen. Queen's a high area to get to. Same thing with Greta Van Fleet. You might say they're like Led Zeppelin, but they're not necessarily. But I love Ghost. I love Ghost so much. I wasn't sure about Ghost at first. The first record I think is good in hindsight, but it's not my favorite. It's not my go-to Ghost record. But they've only gotten better with time, I think. They've only gotten better with time. Trevor says his favorite record this year would be Ozzy's new record. It's gotten a lot of hate, but I think there's some good tracks on there. The one, Ordinary Man, the title track with Elton John, that song is great. It's so great. It's so great. I was actually listening to that record literally yesterday. And it has its weak moments, most notably Post Malone. I don't even hate Post Malone, but I don't think he aids that record in any way, shape, or form. And the fact that they even throw the Post Malone track on at the end, not the original one, but the Take All You Want From Me or whatever it just doesn't even fit on the record. Doesn't fit on the record at all, in my opinion. Hey, John B. Good is here. What's up, John B. Good? What's up, John? Hey, Kimchi, I just joined in, but I'm catching up with you right now, so I would say The Black Crowes' Shake Your Money Maker, released in 1990, was the best classic rock and roll debut record in the 90s. Well, you know what? You're not 100% wrong. I mean, that's not a bad record at all. That's a great record. As far as, if we're going with rock debut records from the 90s specifically, the first Wild Hearts record, Wild Hearts versus the Earth or the World. I don't know. I'm being put on blast because I can't remember it. First Wild Hearts record, though, man, that's a great rock and roll record right there. It's got all the catchiness of Cheap Trick, but with a little bit more heaviness to it, a little more cynicism, and the rockin' of rock and roll. Check out the Wild Hearts if you never have. I think you'll like them. But that Black Crowes first record is great. They're a band that I think put out a lot of good records, but then kind of lost it at one point. And I was looking forward to maybe seeing them this year. I wasn't sure I was gonna go, honestly, because you know the reunion's just with the brothers. It's not really with like the band. But we don't really even have that option now. So they were gonna play 2 dates here too. I didn't buy a ticket, thankfully, in the scheme of things now. But I was thinking about checking it out. I was thinking about picking up a ticket. By the way, guys, I haven't said this even once on the stream yet, but give this video a thumbs up if you're watching. I just noticed that the thumbs up are a little bit low comparative to what we have going on. So give this thing a thumbs up. Give it a like. It helps me out so much to know that you guys care, and it helps YouTube know we're all alive. Let's see here. David says, "Good night, Chris. Heading to Netflix and may check out The Creep." Yes, please do. And then Old Man Beauty Sleep. Keep safe. Let me know if you check out The Creep. I don't know if you're hearing this because there's a little bit of a delay on the chat. But if you check out The Creep, let me know. The second one's pretty good too. But the first one is so good. Watch it with all the lights out by yourself if you can. It will make you feel uneasy in a few parts. It's a slow burn a little bit, but it'll freak you out. It'll creep you out for sure. The Creep, it lives up to its title. It really does. Really does. Trevor says, Greta Van Fleet sounds a lot like Zeppelin, obviously, but you gotta check out the songs on New Day and Lover, Lever, or Take Believer. They still sound like them, but their music itself doesn't. It makes a lot of sense. I listened to... Is that the record you were talking about earlier? Their first, like, full-length, whatever it's called? I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry. But I listened to their first full-length record, whatever it is. I didn't listen to the EPs in their entirety. I watched the music videos, but I listened to the first one. I remember, I think it's the opening track. Sounds a lot more... We're comparing it to another classic rock band here, but it has a lot more, like, Rushisms, if that makes sense. Sounds a little bit like Rush. Some Rushness in there, and it has some other things. So, like, I listened to the record. I listened to the full first record. And, you know, it's funny, at the time... That was when Anthony Fantano's review was getting like so much hype for how much he just destroyed that record, you know. So I had to check it out. Even if it wasn't for that, I had to check it out. I was curious about these guys because first time I heard them, I was kind of into it a little bit. But with him saying it's like the worst record ever made, which is just like stupid. But I had to check it out because I was thinking, you know, if this guy's getting all this hype from this bad review, maybe I should do it. Because here's the thing, on this channel, obviously I talk about things and make videos and make content and create things that I care about, but occasionally you want to bring in some more views because when you bring in more people, they see more of the stuff that you're making overall, right? Makes sense. That's why we had all the Vinnie Vincent videos for so long. I made one, it really took off. It's still the most viewed video on the channel with close to 40,000 views, which is insane. And as a result, for a while, I was making a lot of Vinnie Vincent videos. And the thing is, I was interested in all that stuff. I wasn't making them just for the views. But, nonetheless, they were bringing people in. And the people were checking out the other videos. So it's kind of like a full circle thing, you know? It's kind of like a human centipede situation, you know? They're checking out everything. They're coming in for the Vinnie, staying for everything else. But, where's this going full circle in regards to Greta Van Fleet? I thought about reviewing that record because... Even though, as Anthony Fantano says himself, he is the busiest internet music nerd or whatever, I figured if his video is getting some traction, if I could get a video out there and get it to get some traction, it might bring a lot of new people into the channel, bring some more people into the community. But I didn't really like the record, and even back then, I was trying to stay away a little bit from negative stuff outside of some situations with, again, Vinnie Vincent and such. So I decided to go against it. I didn't want to bring it down. I didn't want to make people like you, for example, mad at me just because I didn't really like a record. Now, everything's off the table when we're talking about Mr. Glenn Danzig, because that newest one where he sings Elvis is just an atrocity. So that's why I had to review that. That was comically bad. That was, like, when you listen to that record, Danzig sings Elvis, or Danzig sings Elvis. A lot of people said I say his name wrong. I don't care. I don't care. Misfits are one of my favorite bands. I can say his name how I want, but when you listen to that record, he defiles Elvis so bad that it gets to the point of parody. It gets to the point of being a joke, of just the absurdity of it. You know, in his prime, had Danzig in his prime done an Elvis tribute record when he was like the first 4 Danzig records, it might have been incredible. It probably would have been incredible. He would do an odd Elvis cover here and there, and they were usually pretty good, actually. They weren't bad. The guy could sing at that point. his band was on point at that point. Point. But in this day and age, he's lost it. Their production's bad. All that kind of stuff. John B. Good says, I respect Greta Van Fleet, but they are trying to play the SEP card too strong. I don't know what that means. But I love any new band that tries to bring back the classic rock sound. It makes me believe maybe rock isn't dead. I meant Zepp. Oh, not Sepp. Okay, you corrected yourself quickly. Cool. Hey, you know, I don't know if you were in here earlier, John, when I brought up Danko Jones then, and they're not super new because they've been around since the late 90s at this point. We're all getting old when we call that a new band. You know, I want the new band to be the kids down the street making the noise, but if you want a current rock band, you should check out Danko Jones. Great. They throw back to classic rock without being a throwback act, I guess you would say. They don't sound in purpose. I don't know. In principle, they aren't exactly a classic rock band, but they have all the makings of it, essentially. They're great, and it's new. It's relevant to today's interests. Danko Jones is incredible. You gotta check out Danko Jones. We Sweat Blood is the record to start with, I would say. Trevor says, I know I didn't get mad at other people's opinions, but if you haven't heard their EP, maybe check it out. I don't know. Do what you want. Well, I've got time. I could do it. You know, the thing about Greta Van Fleet, I remember I'm kind of curious because, you know, we've been talking about this and them along with Ghost and the Struts. They are the three hype bands in rock and roll right now. They're all on an upward trajectory, it seems. The Struts definitely are. Struts are just getting bigger over time. And Ghost definitely are. They're not that far away from being a arena headlining band, which is funny because I always said with Ghost they would never be as big as they are already because of all the satanic imagery and everything. I thought it was just a little bit too... It was too much to get bigger, but I guess we had Marilyn Manson at the same time, you know, and they're a little more suave about it than him, even though they're also a little more blatant about it with all their upside-down crosses and such. But where I'm going with this is I feel Greta Van Fleet, like, the hype was building. The hype was building with the EPs. When they'd come around here, they were playing our venue called Marathon Music Works regularly. That place holds like 1,500 people. They sold out like 3 nights there. They did all this stuff. All the hype was building. And then the last time they were here, they upgraded to this place called Municipal Auditorium that holds like 5,000 people. Tickets didn't sell horribly well from what I heard. No one seemed to be that excited. And it seems like their hype has dissipated already a little bit. And that doesn't mean anything necessarily good or bad about the music. And I could be 100% wrong on that. But it seems like Ghost and the Struts are both building and 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 building. And I feel like Greta Van Fleet has kind of hit a plateau that they might not be able to go past because a lot of younger kids are really into them, but a lot of the old guys aren't giving them the time of day. And I'm somewhere in the middle on that, I know. And I did give them the time of day, but I wasn't feeling it too much. But I don't know. I might check out the EP if you say it's worth it. I've got the time. How about this? I'll check out their EP, and you need to check out some Tokyo Incidents. How about that? Expand your mind. Check out the record Sports. It's really good. Variety is another really good record from them. It's good stuff. And then if you like them, look up Sheena Ringo's solo stuff on her own. I love all of her stuff. Her first record is so good. I'm not going to embarrass myself trying to say the title because I think it's in Japanese. Well, no, it's not all in Japanese. There's some English in it. Moratorium is there. But Sheena Ringo is another one that, like, God, she is a godsend. You got to check her out if you're a music fan. There's just no way around it. But her first record, Mazai Moratorium, from 1999. That might be my favorite record from the 90s, actually, now realizing it's 1999. That's a good record to check out. You can look it up on Spotify. I think it's in kanji on there, so it's going to be all the Japanese characters. But it's her first record from 1999. It's good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Let's see. John says, the Dancing Elvis album is a joke. It's gotta be, right? It's gotta be a joke. Sorry, but I'd rather listen to Little River Band than that. I know the name Little River Band, and I don't know anything about their music. But it's gotta be a joke, right? It's gotta be a joke. The idea of him covering Elvis is not a joke. But that record's gotta be a joke with what it is. With what it is. In hindsight, can you guys hear that, by the way? There are so many fireworks going on outside my house. I don't know what they're celebrating. Maybe they're celebrating the fact that Kid Rock got his beer license taken away. Kid Rock has a bar in my town, unfortunately. And they opened up and didn't abide to any of the social distancing or any of the things they were supposed to do, and they were fined a lot of money, and they took away their beer license. And I think in effect they have to close, or maybe they just closed on their own. Nonetheless, Kid Rock is losing money now. Hallelujah, I think people are celebrating with fireworks. But nonetheless, the dancing record has to be a joke. There's no way that's serious. There's no way he's not that self-aware. There's no way someone in his group of people also didn't step in and say, this is a bad idea, man. Glenn, what are you doing with your life? You made a lot of good music. But this is not Walk Among Us by the Misfits. One of the greatest punk rock records ever. Greatest records ever. One of the best. That would be right behind Shout at the Devil for my favorite 80s records. But the first Dancing records, incredible stuff. Dancing 2, great record. Dancing 3, How the Gods Kill, great record. You know what? Trevor says, you know what? That's a deal. I'll take you up on that and DM me on Insta what you thought. All right, I will do that. Funny part, Tokyo Incidents and Sheena Ringo, I would do videos about them on here, but I don't know if anybody would even care. I love them. My fandom for Sheena Ringo in particular is huge, but it's hard to be a fan in America because there's just not that much fandom in America for her. But luckily, all the music's on Spotify now, so it's a lot easier to get. When I was getting into her, you had to download it or spend a lot of money on import CDs, so it's really nice that you can get all that stuff. John says, I've got neighbors that are blowing off fireworks here too. Are they celebrating Kid Rock getting his beer license taken away as well? I think we should all celebrate that with a beer. Kid Rock, guess what? You can't do this at your bar, but I can do it here on stream. You guys weren't keeping up with that or didn't see anything about that, because I know that was a big deal here in Nashville. I don't know how big it got, but obviously we are still in pandemic mode. And some of the bars, the restaurants, things like that, they're reopening. They're allowed to reopen here in Nashville. But they have to abide to certain rules and regulations, right? Makes sense. And there was a picture that circulated. You can find it on Google pretty quickly of Kid Rock's bar. I think it might have been last Friday perhaps. And it was just slammed with people. I mean, they were all over the place. One of the rules with bars is you're not allowed to serve at the bar, the specific bar itself, like the countertop. You can't do that. You have to have the people that are in the bar, at least here in Nashville. I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but in Nashville they have to be at tables or on a patio or in their car, because right now you can serve beer to people in their car. A little bit frightening, I know, but they can't be on the bar itself. And they were just all over the bar. They're all over everything. They're person to person. Everybody in there's white. You gotta love that. That was pointed out by just about everybody. And a lot of people were very mad about it, as well as some other bars that were around town. On Broadway, the tourist area with all of the Chads and Karens of the world. And you know what? Something got done about it. There was a thing with the government here, with the courthouse. There was a ruling. They were fined a bunch of money. The beer license was taken away. And now Kid Rock can't baw with the baw all over Broadway. Thank God. Thank God. I'm so happy. Maybe I should make a video on that sometime. That would be really funny. That would be really funny. I don't know. I don't really want to make a video about Kid Rock. I don't want his trolls coming in. But maybe I should. I should. It's funny. It's funny. It's comedy. Like the Danzig Sings Elvis record. Let's see here. What album, Trevor wants to know, what album did you tell me to listen to? Because it's in Japanese writing. So that's what the album cover looks like. Oh yeah, that's true. So you're looking it up. You got the kanji there. So we want... If you're doing Tokyo Jihin, let's do Tokyo Jihin. You know what? Actually, let's start you from the beginning. Let's start you with... Did you look up Sheena Ringo specifically? I have it up on my phone. There she is. So cool. Looks like a nice traditional Japanese woman there. But this is the album. If you look up Sheena Ringo, here's the album we want to go with. We want Musa Moratorium. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Is that showing up? That's the album you want with all the people on it there, released in 1999. But if you want Tokyo Jihin, Tokyo Incidents, I'll find you their record that you want there as well. I'm going the extra mile. If you listen to both of these, I think it'd be incredible. It would be worth your time, indeed. So with Tokyo Incidents, you want sports. And it looks an awful lot like that. Has a little sports car, or a little metal there. This one has, this is the one I said is like one of my favorite albums ever. The intro to the record with the acapella that just blows into a rock and roll song. It's so good. The musicianship is incredible. It's incredible. If you don't like it, I don't know what's wrong with you. I know that's just like, you know, I don't know. Those are the 2 records you should check out, and then you'll want to check them all out if you feel so inclined. You could. We finished off this beer, rock and roll, right? So, is everybody having a good time on Friday night? Everyone having a good Friday? I'm really liking this streaming thing, but I think we talked about this earlier in the stream, but there's some new people here. Cool, you found sports. I'm excited for you, Trevor. That's a good record. Check it out. Check it out. Listen to it. I'm telling you, the first song, man, the vocal intro, then when all the music kicks in. You know, this light worked really well when there was still light outside, but I'm going to move it over. I look really blown out. Okay, I look a little more natural now. Hopefully. But I hope everybody's doing good on this Friday night. I like streaming. Where I was going earlier, yeah. So when we started out the stream, I said that I'm going to try to do these once every 2 weeks. I'm going to do them every 2 weeks, I think, now. For a second, I thought every week would work well. But just to be fair, it was... I don't know, I didn't enjoy it as much doing it that. And then there was that one weird week there where I did it twice. And I'm not saying that'll never happen. I might have some surprise streams here and there, but I think every 2 weeks is a good way to do it. I'm not sure they'll always be on Fridays. While we're in quarantine still, we can do Fridays. But when life becomes normal, there'll be shows to go to, shows to play, shows to work. All kinds of music stuff on Fridays again. I think music is going to be really ridiculously busy whenever we can get back into the world. On that front, what are you guys looking forward to most when music does kick back up? I'm curious. Obviously, we're all looking forward to the stadium tour. Some of us might be looking forward to some Kiss dates that got canceled. Also, yesterday the dates got moved to 2021 for the Rod Stewart and Cheap Trick tour. You know, and I'm not the biggest Rod Stewart fan in the world, but I appreciate him. But Cheap Trick I love, so that got moved. Get a sip of water and then get another beer. It's because it's Friday, guys. It's Friday, so cheers, cheers, cheers. Cheers to the downfall of Kid Rock. But what all are we looking forward to most? You know, I actually, what other shows did I have? There was a lot of like smaller shows coming up that just got canceled last minute. I remember Beach Slang was coming. I was really excited to see them. Best Coast was coming. I was excited to see them. What else? Rat was coming. I was excited for that. Something a little more on brand for this channel, I suppose. What else? Wu-Tang Clan were coming back. I didn't have a ticket, but I was highly considering buying one last minute. I think that got moved. I think I actually got all together canceled, so we won't get that. John B. Good says, I know you may not want to go here, but it's a month after Bob Kulig's death. Since there hasn't been a cause of death released, doesn't seem like most likely was the S word. So sad. Yeah, you know, I mean, obviously, there's a really good chance we'll never know, and I feel the S word one in particular, you know, or you said it seems most likely it could be that word. Okay, I read that wrong. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. I'm just gonna be honest. You know, it's funny, since Bob left us, so my video that I put out last year when he was going on the tirade on all the podcasts and talking a lot of nonsense and just acting like an overall unhinged person, so to speak. That video, before he passed away, had around 7,000 views or something like that. And since he's passed, that video has eclipsed 10,000 views at this point. It's all been people flooding in since he passed, of course. And in that video, I'll talk about the current situation that he was going through at the time and how he was presenting himself. And I praised his playing, his musicianship and everything a lot more times. And, you know, I even said things like he was acting like a crazy person and maybe he did go crazy and all these other things. But there was a sense of endearment, I feel, to it. So these 3,000 people stormed in to the video. And some of them had very nice things to say, got some more thumbs up. But a lot of them had some really trolly things to say. And that was one of the first videos in a long time that I had to set the comments to being approved by me before they could go public. Because some of them were getting really hateful, and I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it. One person said I was the cause of him passing, which doesn't even make any sense. So I really hope it wasn't the S word. I also hope it wasn't the pandemic. I hope that didn't get to him. On a really sad note, one of my friend's grandparents passed away recently from that. And I knew that lady as well, so it's a really sad thing, and it really affects the older people, the higher risk people. So, I mean, Bob could fall into that. But I feel if it was that, we would have heard that. Because I feel most people that have some level of fame that are passing from that, it's pretty much, it's being talked about. You know, because the people even in their circles want that to be a known thing. Now, the weird thing, you know, Bob Kulick didn't really seem to have like a publicist or a team behind him. He ran his own Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, things of that nature. And if you go to his Facebook page now, like his like regular profile page, the one where you could add him as a friend. I don't know if he had a like page where you could like him, but there's one where you add him as a friend. It has like this memorial thing at the going through a lot, handling all of that right now. So the whole Bob thing is sad. It's really sad. And you know, to prove that people love tragedy and love all the crazy stuff, that video, like I said, brought in 3,000 views after he passed, which sounds weird. For the channel is good, I guess, like on a purely like for the channel situation, but I wish he was still here with us, obviously. Very nice to me when I met him. Very nice to me when I met him. But I also made the video, you know, the RIP video, and that one didn't even get a fraction of the views. And it wasn't done to get views, because that's not what this is all about. But I wanted to have one that was an all positive video, just as a kind of a counterpoint even to that video, for the people that weren't understanding that video very well, apparently. They're too stupid. But they didn't do that well. So a lot of people didn't see it. So, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Trevor says, honestly, I was excited to see Rat, Tom Kiefer, the whole tour, and Styx. Yeah, that tour, it was Tom Kiefer, Rat, was it Skid Row, and Vixen? Were those the other bands? I can't remember. But that one wasn't coming here, but Rat was playing here in Nashville. They were going to play kind of a pre-show for that tour. It was going to be just them at Marathon Music Works. That place holds about 1,500, 2,000 people, something like that. It's not a large, super large venue, all general admission. And I was looking forward to seeing Rat there. Tickets were like $20. But of course it got canceled, just like all these other things. It didn't get even rescheduled. It straight up got canceled. I think tickets weren't selling super well for it, though, because that show here in Nashville was supposed to be at the end of May, and it was announced kind of last minute, like in April. And literally when it was announced, every comment on the Facebook post was just saying, "This isn't going to happen, you idiots." And yeah, all the naysayers and the trolls and everything were right. So, you know, but it's unfortunate. Styx, they still have a show scheduled in Nashville, as far as I know, but it's not going to happen. I think they got postponed. I think their date here in Nashville was early in the year as well. I don't know the exact time, but let's say April or May, just for consistency's sake. I think right now it's scheduled for October, but it's not going to happen. I'm 99% sure. Live music isn't coming back anytime soon on a large scale. There's a venue here called the East Room, which is really cool, and they're trying to do something cool. It's a small room. It holds like 100 people. Small club. And they're trying to do this thing where they are going to bring music back, and they'll have 2 bands per night. The bands can't exceed a certain amount of members on stage, and they're going to allow 25 people to attend the shows with proper spacing. But I don't even know how that's going to go in a small club like that. How do you enforce that? How do you enforce that? You can't tell people just to stand still in a spot, but I think that might be what they're going to be trying to do. But let's see. Yeah, Trevor says Skid Row and Slaughter were the other bands. Oh yeah, Slaughter. Yeah, Slaughter. They're another one that's on that, you know, lower tier, but still doing pretty good. Mark Slaughter lives here in town, and he's a super nice guy. I'm always talking about the people that live in town, I feel, on these streams. But a lot of the people that we know and love live in my town. We have Mark Slaughter, we have Brett Michaels, we have John Karabi, we have Robin Zander, we have all these people. Butch Walker. It's insane. Dave Mustaine lives in town. He lives in Franklin, so it's like 40 minutes from me. But he's still here. Did I ever tell you guys about the time I met Dave Mustaine? It was really cool. I should do a full video about it sometime. I'm going to save that story and do a video about it sometime, because my experience with Dave Mustaine was really funny. It was really funny. It was cool, too. I'm going to save it for a video. Don't let me forget that, guys. Remind me that I need to do a video about the time I met Dave Mustaine in passing. I don't have an autograph, don't have a picture, nothing. But it was an interesting interaction. It was fun, and funny enough, Butch Walker was involved too. it was a good time. John B. Good says, I just hope that Bruce and Bob reconciled before his death. Bob was the best Ghost member of Kiss. Super talented, such a huge loss. R.I.P. Bob. Yeah, he was a great Ghost player. And that's what he was. You know, we can't put him down, okay, for being a Ghost player, because that's what he was. But he was put down by that term. He didn't like that term. And the way I learned that he did not like that term is he was doing all those podcast interviews around that time. And I don't remember which one this was on. But, you know, he did a bunch of them. He was on the Kiss FAQ podcast. He was on the Mitch LaFon, Mitch Allen, whatever that guy. The guy that interviewed Vinnie Vincent as well. He was on the Metal Voice as well. He's on all kinds of them, okay? And he was doing them in progressions. And when I made my video about him, not to make it all about me, but I swear he saw the video. He saw the video that I uploaded about him. I know it for a fact because the very next interview he did after that video came out, and it was a current interview where I mentioned and made reference to him being a Ghost player. And I was really the only person talking about him on YouTube at the time. Ralph Vieira had as well. But I don't think he used that term Ghost player on his video. Maybe he did. I don't know. But I know that I used it more, I think. And that's no put down to Ralph. Ralph has a cool channel. And I hope he's doing well. I don't know if you guys have been following him, but he's been in and out of the hospital. So I hope he's doing well. But Bob did an interview after that. And he had to bring up how he was not a Ghost player. And he was more than a behind-the-scenes guy. And all those other things. Like 16 times. And he had never used those phrases until my video had come out. So I know he saw my video. I know he was Googling himself like crazy. I know he's YouTubing himself like crazy. And, you know, so I was always very curious how my meeting would be with him if I ever met him in person again. Kind of like if I ever meet Vinnie Vincent in person again, I'm very curious how that will go, because while I say I know, I'm highly assuming that Bob Kulick saw my videos. I know for a fact Vinnie has seen mine, though. It's been reported to me by several people. And while I don't have any direct quotes that he hates me, because there was that quote floating around with him that, again, going back to Ralph Vieira, that he specifically said he didn't like Ralph Vieira, I assume he doesn't like me. I do know at one point when I was in contact with his management at the time, I don't know who's managing him now. I think it's that one guy, Steven something or other, one of the cult members on his Facebook group. But when he had a different manager and they were in contact with me at one point, believe it or not, he said that Vinny had seen my videos and actually liked them. He liked some of the criticism and things of that nature, but I'm sure he hates me now. I'm sure he hates me now. Trevor Bullock says, I've just been calling you Trevor the whole time. I said your full name this time. I wanted people to know it was Trevor Bullock. I wanted them to know it was you. Top 10 favorite rock bands. That's a good state. Are you asking me that? I'm going to say that you're asking me that. Oh, man, that's a hard one. Okay, so number 1 is Kiss. Number 1 is Kiss. Number 2, if we're going with rock, we're going to exclude some things. Is Prince considered rock at this point? Let's go with what's considered traditionally rock. So we're going with Kiss. Then number 2 would be like Alice Cooper, probably. Butch Walker would be right around there as well. Let's say he's number 3. Number 4 be Aerosmith. Old school Aerosmith. Can't be touched. Can't touch old school Aerosmith. So number 4 is Aerosmith. What would be after that? What would be after that at number 5? Do we consider Ramones rock and roll, or are they more punk? Well, we're going to say rock and roll for this because they're a rock and roll band at heart. They'd probably be number 4, actually. The number 4 would be Ramones. Number 5 would be Aerosmith. Number 6 on this, Cheap Trick. We're going to go with Cheap Trick for that one, for number 6. Number 7, we're going to go with Danko Jones. We brought them up earlier. I love Danko Jones. Number 7 is Danko Jones. Number 8, X-Japan. The biggest band in Japan. We've talked about Japanese music a little bit on here. X-Japan, biggest band in Japan history, pretty much, and they're so good. You gotta love X-Japan. That was number, what, 7 or 8? Did I say it was 7 or 8? I don't know. Let's say it was 7. Let's get 3 more. So number 8. Man, this is hard when put on the spot. If I was making a video about this, I would really be thinking all this out. That's why it's hard. Number 8. Let's go. You're going to hate me possibly for this. A lot of people don't like this. They like Sabbath better. But I'm going with Solo Ozzy at number 8. I love Solo Ozzy. Number 9, Queen. And then number 10 is probably Black Sabbath, actually. Is that cheating having him in there twice? If it is, let's throw in Tom Petty for one of those. But yeah, there you go. Roughly a selection. Maybe I'll make a video at some point about my top 10 favorite rock bands, top 20, something like that. The problem is, like, I know I like a lot of other stuff, so it's always hard to say just like top rock or top metal, something like that. So I'm just kind of all over the place when it comes to music and things like that. So it's really hard to say that. But there you go. There you go. We're talking about rock in the classical sense. Those are my favorite bands. Those are my favorite bands. But that seems like it might be a decent place to actually end the stream. I know that we've went on here before for like 2 hours. And that's fun, but it's also really tiring. I have some things I really want to get into tonight. We've went an hour and a half almost, guys. Oh, but before we do that, Trevor told me his favorite bands, and I want to know who they are. Trevor, number 1 is Kiss for Trevor. Number 2 is Alice Cooper. We're on the same page. Number 3 is Motley Crue. Number 4 is Van Halen, not Van Hagar. Perfect. Number 5 is Led Zeppelin. Number 6 is Black Sabbath. Number 7 is AC/DC. Number 8 is Aerosmith. Number 9 is Def Leppard. And number 10 is Iron Maiden. That's an amazing list. Cool. So yeah, on that front, I think we're about to close things up, guys. I think we're about to close things up. This has been a fun stream. I'm not sure that the next one will be an earlier one like this. We normally do them at 8 o'clock Central. We did this one at 7. And I wasn't sure if it would help or hurt the attendance, but this one, just to be fair, has had a little bit less attendance than some of the others. So maybe we'll stick to 8 o'clock. A lot of people like getting on here later. And that one will be 2 weeks from now. I'm going to say you can pencil it in on your calendar that it will probably be 2 weeks from now. And so not the 20, probably July 3rd. Probably July 3rd will be the next stream. There could be one before that. But for the most part, that'll probably be the next live stream. More than likely. And I'm also streaming on Twitch a lot more often. We're doing video games over there. If you go to Twitch, it is Kimchi_gamer. I would love to see some of you guys over there. I would absolutely love it. Go to twitch.tv/Kimchi_gamer. We're also going to be making a YouTube channel for the Kimchi Gamer. Monopoly. That's coming soon too. But thank you guys so much for coming out. This was fun, as it always is. They're still shooting fireworks outside, celebrating the demise of Kid Rock's bar. And I had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time as well. And we will see you guys on the next... Wait for it. Next stream. Whoa!